You are sitting still right now, maybe waiting for something to load, maybe staring at a wall, maybe stuck in a car, a meeting, a waiting room, or a moment that just refuses to end. And somewhere inside you, something is starting to itch. A restlessness, a low hum of discomfort that you have probably never stopped to question. You call it boredom. But the real answer is far stranger than you think. That itch is not a flaw. It is not laziness. It is not your phone addiction talking. It is one of the oldest survival systems your brain has ever built, and it has been running inside you every single day of your life, almost completely unnoticed. Let that sit for a second. The feeling you try to escape with a scroll or a snack or turning on background noise has a job, a very specific job. And it has been doing that job for hundreds of thousands of years before screens existed, before cities existed, before you existed. To understand what boredom actually is, you have to go back. Not a few decades, not a few centuries, all the way back to the savannah. Your ancestors spent most of their lives doing one thing, scanning, eyes on the horizon, ears open, brain constantly asking the same question over and over again. Is this moment safe, or is something about to kill me? That question ran in the background every waking hour, and for it to run properly, the brain needed a signal. It needed a way to know when nothing important was happening, when no predator was near, when no rival was approaching, when no fire was spreading. That signal was boredom. Boredom is your brain telling you that the current environment is understimulating relative to your capacity. That is the technical definition, and it was first formalized in modern psychology by the researcher John Eastwood at York University, who spent years studying what boredom actually does in the brain. His conclusion was direct. Boredom is not the absence of stimulation. It is the failure to engage with available stimulation in a satisfying way. Think about what that means. Your brain is not just sitting idle when you are bored. It is actively pushing you. It is applying pressure. It is saying, this is not enough. Go find something better. Move, act, hunt, build, explore. Because staying idle in a world full of threats is how you die. For your ancestors, the response to that pressure was physical. Boredom meant it was time to scout new terrain. Check the tree line, follow that sound, move the camp, test the berries, try a new tool. The discomfort of boredom was a direct evolutionary nudge toward exploration, invention, and survival. Psychologist Sandy Mann at the University of Central Lancashire has called boredom the mother of creativity, not as a metaphor, but as a biological observation. Her research showed that people who were bored before a creative task significantly outperformed people who were not, because boredom floods the mind with wandering, association, and possibility. Your brain does not want you to sit still. It never did. But here is where the story takes a turn. For almost the entire span of human existence, the boredom signal had nowhere easy to escape to. If you were a hunter-gatherer and you felt that restless itch, you got up and moved your body. You talked to someone. You carved something. You walked. The discomfort found a real outlet, and in finding that outlet, it served its purpose. It made you more capable, more aware, more alive to the world around you. Now look at what happens today. Today, the moment that signal fires, you have a glass rectangle in your pocket that can bury it, instantly. You tap a screen, and your brain gets a hit of novelty, a video, a message, a headline. The itch stops. The discomfort fades. You feel relief. And that relief is exactly the problem. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan spent decades separating two things the brain had always lumped together: wanting and liking. His research revealed that the dopamine system, the part of your brain that drives motivation and seeking behavior, is not actually about pleasure. It is about the anticipation of reward, the wanting, not the getting. When you feel boredom, your wanting system activates. It needs something to chase, and when you hand it a social media feed, it chases infinitely without ever arriving anywhere real. You quiet the signal without completing the task. Your brain never gets the satisfaction of having actually found something, and so the signal builds, and your tolerance for stillness drops. And every week the itch comes faster, harder, more insistent, because you have trained your brain to expect instant relief. And boredom has never been about instant relief. It was always about effort. This is why people who grew up before the smartphone age describe a different relationship with time. Long summer afternoons with nothing to do did not feel like a crisis. They felt uncomfortable at first, and then, slowly, something would happen. The boredom would deepen, and then it would break open into something else. An idea, a game, an obsession, a story told to a sibling on the porch. Unstructured time became productive time, not because anyone planned it that way, but because the brain, given no easy escape, did exactly what evolution built it to do. It started solving problems and making things. That process is not optional for your brain. It is biological. There is a network in your brain called the default mode network. For decades, neuroscientists thought it was the brain doing nothing, the idle state. Then imaging studies revealed something startling. The default mode network is one of the most active systems in your brain. It runs when you are not focused on an external task. It processes memories, imagines futures, thinks about other people, makes narrative sense of your life, and generates what researchers now believe is the foundation of creativity, empathy, and self-awareness. Boredom activates the default mode network. Endless scroll shuts it down. Every time you fill silence with noise, you are interrupting a process your brain has been running since before language. You are stopping a system that exists to make you more human. Think about the last genuinely original idea you had, the last time you surprised yourself. Chances are you were not staring at a screen. You were in the shower, on a walk, lying on the floor looking at the ceiling, half asleep. You were bored, and your default mode network was doing exactly what it was built to do. Now imagine what you have been giving up. The discomfort you feel when you sit without stimulation is ancient. It is real. It is not a bug in your psychology. It is a directive from a brain that was built to explore a physical world, to move through real terrain, to solve real problems. That brain did not evolve to scroll. It evolved to scan the horizon. And here is the strange, uncomfortable truth about your modern life. The more you escape boredom, the worse your boredom gets. The threshold for feeling it drops lower. Waiting 2 minutes feels unbearable. Sitting in silence feels aggressive. Being alone with your thoughts feels like a punishment. But none of that is natural to your brain. All of it is learned. All of it is reversible. Psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran a study where participants were placed in a room alone with nothing to do and given the option to administer mild electric shocks to themselves as an alternative to sitting with their thoughts. Most of them shocked themselves, some more than once. Not because the shock felt good, because the discomfort of pure, unstructured thought felt worse. Your brain is not comfortable being untasked. It was never meant to be untasked, but it was also never meant to be constantly stimulated. The original state was not quiet and it was not loud. It was alive, moving, seeking. Boredom was supposed to hurt a little. That hurt was the point. The itch was supposed to make you stand up and go find something worth caring about. So the next time you feel it, that low, restless hum, that flicker of nothing that reaches immediately for your phone, pause. Just for a moment. Let the discomfort be there. Let your brain remember what it is supposed to do with it. Because your ancestors did not escape boredom. They followed it. And it led them across continents, into caves lit by firelight, toward tools and language and everything that eventually became you. You are sitting still right now, and something inside you wants to move. That is not a distraction. That is the oldest instruction your brain has ever given you. Maybe it is time to listen.